The great Ken Rosenthal joins us here on A's Cast Live once again. It's great to have you back. How are you?
Chris, how are you? Good to be here.
And it was like 2 spring trainings ago last time we saw
I
you.
know. Well, it's been a little bit crazy the last couple of years. Lockout,
Yeah.
WBC, so it's great to be here.
Well, you're a great person to ask, because speaking of the WBC and the new rules, I couldn't remember the last time going into a season we had so much momentum, good momentum going into, and now with the rules working, just what do you think of baseball right now?
I would totally agree with that the momentum coming into this season was much better than in the past couple, right? We had the lockout, we had COVID, we had all kinds of things going on, and the WBC was a great launching point for this season. And then the rules. The rules, Chris, have made, as you know, a huge difference in the play, the pace of play, the time of game, of course, but I don't know that that's everything, because we can see a great 3-hour game, but it's the pace of that 3-hour game now that matters. And the sport is just more enjoyable. And I think for the players, and talking to them, it's more fun to play. Their athleticism can show. They can do things that maybe they were restricted from doing before. So overall, it's as positive a place for the sport as it's been in quite some time. There's no threat of labor problems. We're 4 years away from that.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
This is Rickey Henderson Field. This is where the greatest base stealer grew up, born and raised here, played here. I'm an 80s kid, so I remember Vince Coleman, Tim Raines. I try and tell all these kids who watch the show, that was baseball to me. We're seeing it again.
Yes, and, well, Rickey, of course, was the ultimate, and there'll never be another Rickey. And I remember covering games in this park, late 80s, early 90s, with some of those teams that they had, and it was so much fun. But, yes, the fact that the running game is back is a huge thing for the sport, and it's exciting. It adds an element that's been missing, and I don't know how it's all going to play out.
Yeah.
Because teams will adjust, they'll do different things, and if the success rate falls, teams will back off. But I don't know how much it's going to fall with these rules. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It'd be interesting to ask Rickey. I think actually the Athletics' Britt Garoli did ask him this.
That is correct.
How many would you steal in this environment? I forgot Rickey's answer. It was probably like 200 or something. But
well, right now we have a 95% success rate stealing third. He loves stealing third.
Yep.
I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like any of those guys. But the one thing that I think about, because we started to see a blueprint where all 30 teams looked the same, the way they were building their teams. Now, if we get in a game, we're still going to have the Yankees trying to hit the ball at the ballpark in certain teams, but now running teams versus home run teams truly built on speed and defense. Isn't that better for our game to have multiple matchups? Styles make fights.
I totally agree. I don't know that it's going to happen. And one executive is explaining to me that the best way to score is still to walk and hit home runs.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. But my question to him was about the point you just raised. Won't it be good to see maybe Arizona, the way they're playing, Kansas City, the way they're playing? And this guy was saying, no. It's still going to be home runs and walks. But I don't necessarily agree with that. And there will be more of a diversity of style here. And that, too, is healthy. The game was too one-dimensional. It was all power on both sides. Velocity is all that mattered. And from an offensive standpoint, hit the ball out of the ballpark. Well, we'll see if velocity holds. It's holding so far as the pitch clock has an effect on guys as time goes on. Will there be more injuries? Will guys lose a little bit of their fastball? Will they throw more breaking pitches? Because that clock and the accelerated pace takes a toll. I don't know the answers to any of these, but it's going to be really interesting to find out.
If you look in your crystal ball, obviously Oakland is a situation. Baseball needs to figure this out. If you look in your crystal ball, I know you hear a lot of different things. I mean, you're the top insider in our game. What do you think happens with our franchise?
I don't know. And my instinct is they end up in Vegas. But I know from being here that there's tremendous passion here for the team among the team's fans. And while we don't always see all of them here, the ones who are here are extremely passionate, and there are others out there wanting and waiting to come back. So I'm not an expert on Bay Area politics, but if they ever could figure it out, in my view, the franchise could be successful here. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on A's radio or whatever. I've seen this. We all see this, and we all know it. But it has to happen. And how long have we been talking about this? It's insane how long we've been talking about it. So I would hope the commissioner is good to his word and that this gets resolved one way or the other by the end of the year, because it's not a healthy situation for Oakland, for the players, for the staff, for the front office, for the fans. It needs to come to an end.
Let's end on this. As so many things in baseball are changing, our fans understand, as we created A's Cast, what started out as audio, now video. We're by far number one in Major League Baseball. What helps is we're a tech-friendly world here in the Bay Area. But as you mentioned, the interest, I've always said The Athletic. People have thought paying for a website, well, it's journalism that's second to none. Eno Saris joins us every single week. He was just here. I talk about whether you're a football fan, a baseball fan. I get all the soccer updates, NBA for Warrior fans. Subscribe to The Athletic because it's truly great journalism. We now have the problem in baseball with cable.
Yeah.
So we took a leap with this. You took a leap in your career with The Athletic. And I think there's going to be a whole new leap with how we're watching games on devices or television. Our world, we've been in it, but I think baseball people are starting to realize how we get our information and how we watch baseball is changing in front of our eyes.
It always does. And I can just look at my own career. I've had to adapt at many different stages because of the different forms of getting information out there and talking about things and writing about things. And that's the natural course of events. And as technology becomes more prominent and new things are introduced, that's what happens. And baseball, yes, there's an adjustment period that's going to have to go on now with the streaming situation. We all know that. Hopefully we get to a better place where fans are not blacked out anymore. And it seems to me the people in the commissioner's office understand this. It's getting from point A to point B that's not so easy. I get that, but this too needs to be resolved.
Well, I'll tell you what, second to none, whether it's writing, television, you name it, he's the best in our game, and it's always an honor to have you on the program.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks very much.